coming in white, hair coming in green. Jadeveon Clowney coming to Cleveland on a 1-year deal. Last year they wanted him on a 3-year deal that was worth like somewhere between 50 and 60 million. He didn't want that deal. Now he does the 1-year deal worth up to 10 million, which means it's worth less than 10 million. He has to do certain things, and you never know until you see the incentive package. Sometimes you literally have to be the Super Bowl MVP to get your full amount. Maybe he's got to be Defensive Player of the Year. He talked about that yesterday. But, Chris, we saw this coming. It was his second visit to Cleveland. I'm surprised they did it before the draft. What if they have some guy fall to them that's their highest-rated pass rusher, and he just happens to be there, and they've given this contract to Jadeveon Clowney? Maybe they still take the guy. I don't know. But I thought they'd wait until after the draft to go after Jadeveon Clowney.
Well, I think it gives them a little flexibility in the draft, and I think where they're sitting probably there in the 20s, they're probably looking at it like, that's dicey, difference-making pass rusher territory. I'm not sure if there's going to be that type of guy there in this draft. So I think that's probably where that thought comes in, Mike, at least as far as not, exhausting the draft for that position. But, man, Clowney, nonetheless, with this defense opposite of Myles Garrett, man, you got 2 number-1 picks, 2 of the freakier guys in the NFL that we've seen in the league over the last 15 years or so, as far as size, speed, the way they can change directions, do all of those things. And, of course, it makes sense, like we talked a little bit yesterday, because of the scheme fit and everything like that. Life's going to be simple for Jadeveon Clowney. Get wide, rush the passer, do all that. Nice move by Cleveland. You're right. They probably got to still get some people at some point at that position to fill it out for depth. But either way, we know that the starting 4, Sheldon Richardson, Myles Garrett, and Jadeveon, that's pretty legit when you just say those 3 names right there.
Well, Myles Garrett, first-round pick, first overall pick in 2017. Sheldon Richardson, a first-round pick of the Jets in 2013. Jadeveon Clowney, number 1 overall pick in 2014. Takk McKinley, a backup in that rotation pass rusher, a first-round pick of the Falcons in 2017. Clowney gives them, Chris, 10 first-round picks on the roster.
Wow.
3 number 1 overall picks on the roster from 2014, 2017, 2018, of course, Baker Mayfield. This Browns team is different. The Browns is no longer applicable to the Browns, not with those first-round picks that they have. I can't imagine a time since the Browns returned to the NFL in 1999 when they had that much talent, that much. Now, look, some of these guys, like McKinley, he was available to be signed because he didn't live up to that first-round status. But still, 10 first-round picks on the Cleveland Browns. That would have been incomprehensible a few years ago.
No, it's amazing. They've done an unbelievable job of turning over their roster. And, I mean, you really look at it like you see here on this graphic. I mean, forget these names. I mean, there's a lot of other names not on this list that are really damn good, too. And I think when you take into account, even with last year, yeah, okay, you didn't have a guy like Jadeveon Clowney. Some of the additions they've made in free agency here. And, guys like Denzel Ward were hurt, kind of in and out of the lineup. Their other starting quarter, Greedy Williams, he wasn't out there, the whole year. So there's guys on the roster already that they're going to be better with. But I think when you just talk about Clowney, and then now they've addressed the safety position a little bit with John Johnson from the Rams. Anthony Walker at linebacker. We talked about that a bunch at the free agency. They need a linebacker. Well, Anthony Walker's their kind of guy. You just look at their team and their roster, Mike, and like off of what you said, I mean, the Browns is the Browns, or maybe it's just the Browns are awesome, or the Browns has got a really good roster is the real phrase. Because you look at it, Mike, and you just go, what's not to like about the way the team is built right now going into this season?
5 years ago.
Yeah.
I was talking about whether or not in 5 years' time the Browns would be back. And I actually, and I see the envelope all the time, it's sitting on a surface downstairs in my office. It says do not open until, I think, August 16, 2021. I called my shot then that the Browns will be regarded as a better organization than the Cowboys in 5 years' time. So, we're premature, but not much is going to change between now and August.
Right.
Is it fair to say that right now the Browns, top to bottom overall, are a better organization than the Dallas Cowboys?
Well, Yes. I mean, this is a what have you done for me lately league, and where are we right now as far as where we're sitting? We're talking about the Browns, who won a playoff game and had the Chiefs on the ropes and could have easily won that football game if it's not for a bounce of a ball the certain way and the North Korea rule and all those type of things. So, yeah, I don't think there's any doubt about that. The Cowboys, we talked yesterday a little bit about them. The offense is in a good place. There's a lot to be excited about there. But defensively, there's big-time issues, on that side of the ball. So, no, I mean, I don't think it's even close. I think the Browns are clearly in a better state right now than the Dallas Cowboys.
Now, I went through 336-1, the Hugh Jackson tenure after. See, I was confident in the Browns when Hugh Jackson was the head coach.
Whoa.
So I'm glad I made it 5 years instead of 3 years.
Yeah.
And the fact that the Cowboys continue to struggle to live up to their potential makes it a little bit easier. But I'm going to pop that thing open on August 16, and I'm going to read whatever I wrote 5 years ago, and I'm pretty sure if my memory holds up, which there's a chance it doesn't, that's exactly what I said. Apparently, we're going to post a Twitter poll, and there's going to be people, Pete, that think we're nuts for posting the question because right now the Browns are the better team. It's just hard to get used to the idea of the Browns being better than the Cowboys. But get used to, as you mentioned, Clowney and Myles Garrett teaming up. Clowney was asked about that reality yesterday. Here he is.
A lot has been made about you pairing up, obviously, with Myles Garrett and that your arrival will help him. How much will playing with him help you?
A lot. I've been getting double teamed off a lot in this league over my career, and I'm looking forward to playing with somebody dominant on the opposite side, like a Myles Garrett who can draw a double team. Maybe I can go one-on-one more.
The key with Jadeveon Clowney, though, is this, and I wrote this last night at PFT. Yeah. What are the Browns getting with Jadeveon Clowney? And it depends. It depends on whether or not he's healthy and can stay healthy.
Right.
And Shereen Williams added to that on PFT PM last night, also motivated. I think he's always motivated. He plays through a lot of stuff, and we don't know it. And a lot of these guys don't wear that on their sleeves. They don't walk around talking about how banged up they are, in part because they don't want anyone targeting whatever part of them is banged up. I think the issue with Clowney, this goes back to – I remember his rookie year. He only played in 4 games that year. He came down funny on his knee.
On that weird
and he
turf.
was out for the rest of the year. Yeah. And then he needed microfracture surgery, bone-on-bone conditioning his knee after only 1 year. It's amazing in many respects that he's still able to play at this point.
No doubt.
Chris. So I think that it's easy to be infatuated with the film of Clowney when he's healthy, and he's racking up the F up the play stat that we're still trying to get Elias Sports Bureau to officially recognize. But he's not going to give you that for 16 games. He's played 16 games once in a 7-year career. One time he played in 16 games, and my guess is every year he's always fighting through something to get on the field every Sunday.
No, I mean, Mike, you said it right. I mean, first off, microfracture surgery, that's like a career ender for most guys. He's hung in there. I think that speaks to kind of the freak of nature he is, as far as athletically and the build of his body and everything like that. And even off that, Mike, he's been on my podcast before, and he said even with that bum knee, like he can't bend when he's pass rushing because of it. He can't put the pressure on it that he would have been able to before that injury. So it's affected him. But it doesn't matter. But, like you're right. When he's healthy, he's amazing. He's a wrecking ball. He F's plays up everywhere. The stats, forget production. It's all about disruption with Clowney. And, yeah, the injury thing is a real thing. I think when you sign a guy like him, the Cleveland Browns, you got to be just going, wait, we want 10 to 12 games, and we want him to be healthy for the playoffs. That's what you got to be thinking. And the other thing with Clowney, just, to piggyback a little bit off of the question he was asked in the press conference, the Cleveland's a great signing for him, just because of the things we just talked about. Yeah, obviously, Myles Garrett's going to be the guy that gets the attention. He's going to get one-on-ones. The last 2 teams he's been on, the Seahawks and the Texans, he's been like the guy. Wait. Where's Clowney? Where's Clowney? There's nobody else on their defense we got to worry about. Where's he at? Send the back there. Chip him. Hit the tight end. Tight end. Hit him while he's being blocked. So he's always had the bullseye on his back with the last 2 defenses he's been on too. That doesn't help your, health matters either. So I think there's a lot of positives for him, and of course the positives for Cleveland if he can stay healthy. You just look at it. It's another position, Mike, where you go, wow, the Browns are like towards the top of the league in that position or that unit on their roster, and it's pretty damn impressive that way.
We were rolling a highlight package there of Jadeveon Clowney from last year. Most of those plays were from week 1 against the Denver Broncos, and that's going to be the key, Chris. Not getting caught up in the fascination with what he can do if he's healthy early in the season.
Mm-hmm.
Manage his practice reps, limit his game snaps, and do what you have to do to keep him healthy. Constantly monitor and keep him healthy for January. Forget about September and October, because if you become in awe of what he can do, you throw caution to the wind, and you're not going to have him when the season's on the line, and you're not going to have him when you get to the playoffs. And the simple fact that we're presuming playoffs for the Browns just shows you how far they've come.
Yeah.
It's not even if. It's not even if.
No.
When the Browns get to the playoffs this year, they need to have Jadeveon Clowney healthy. It is stunning how quickly the perception has changed of the Cleveland Browns.
No, it's amazing. It really is. And it's like, I feel like, like we just said a few minutes ago, we haven't even seen them at their pinnacle yet as their full roster being healthy and everything like that. That's what's exciting. But with the Clowney thing too, Mike, take this into account. It's a guy too who, because of his contract situations, I'm glad he signed right now, too, because now, get a part of an off-season workout program. Hopefully there is some sort of OTAs, but nonetheless, a training camp. He's been cheated out of training camps the last 2 years because he was waiting to kind of be traded from the Texans to the Seahawks. He got there late, I believe, if I remember correctly. And then, of course, last year he sat on the sideline till late in training camp before he finally signed with a football team. So it's good that it's happening now, for sure, for the player. But, Mike, that's what I was talking about with the Browns. I mean, you go through it, Mike, right? I mean, offensive line, arguably the best in football. Wide receivers, when healthy, I mean, that's a pretty special tandem. I think they'd be in the conversation of top 5 duos in football, right? Running back duos. I don't know. Is there a better one? I don't think there is. You talk about the D-line. I know there's the if of Clowney, but when you just talk about the 3 names we brought up earlier, you go, that's one of the better units in football. I mean, there's 4 or 5. The tight end play is up there like that. I mean, so there's 4 or 5 units we've talked about where you go, they're towards the cream of the crop in the whole league at their position unit. And that's why I think we're going Browns playoffs. And we're not even saying if or whatever else. We're just going, yeah, it's happening.
PointsBet has the Browns at a minus 170 proposition to make the playoffs. You got to bet 170 to win 100. The Steelers, in contrast, are plus 135.
Whoa.
There probably hasn't been a year in the last, 50, where the Browns would have been regarded as a better chance of making the playoffs than the Steelers, but that's kind of where we are. Where's the weakness in the Cleveland Browns? Where's the one thing, if you're a Browns fan, and you're tempted to count your chickens, what's the one thing that would have you concerned about whether or not they're going to hatch?
Well, I think the defense is where you do go. Maybe that, again, the back unit's a little unproven. Denzel Ward's shown great promise. When he is healthy, he's damn good. He really is. He's one of the better corners in football, but that's been a little iffy. And then the other corner position and the safety spots have not really been solidified. So I think that's the thing we got to see. And linebacker, as we talked about a lot, before free agency, is another issue. They don't have their Fred Warner, their Miles Jack, their Kenneth Murray, their Cam Chancellor, KJ Wright. They don't have those 2 linebackers and that safety yet. They got John Johnson. He can fill that one role. They're hoping Anthony Walker can do that from the Colts. But I think that's the one area I look at to at least be unproven and have questions about how good they can really be.
What about Baker Mayfield?
Yeah.
What do we really think about him right now? We were talking about the quarterbacks of the 2018 draft class: Josh Allen, superstar; Lamar Jackson, superstar; Josh Rosen, back up in San Francisco; Sam Darnold dumped to the Panthers for peanuts in comparison to what the Jets gave up to get him. Where's Baker Mayfield sit right now? Where is he?
Yeah, I mean, from the way the year ended, I don't know how you can't be really excited about what we saw from Baker. I mean, Baker really take care of the football. Yes, okay. But made a lot of big-time plays and throws as the year went on, and he got more confident within that offense and everything like that. So, I mean, you know, league-wide-wise, Mike, I don't know. I mean, I'm certainly going to say he's in the top half of the NFL right now. There's no doubt about that. With the power in his arm, you know, he fixed a few little things mechanically last year that helped him control the football better, too, to where we didn't see the ball spray. And then, of course, interception to touchdown ratio is a totally different game. So, you know, he just played a cleaner way of playing last year. But I think the big thing is, too, when shots were there or plays were there to be had, he made them. So what do you think? I mean, you're not saying top 10, but right on maybe the edge of it? What do you say?
Trending in the right direction.
Yeah.
My concern last year was that he was closer to Kirk Cousins than Patrick Mahomes on that scale of what happens when things start to go sideways.
Right.
All due respect to Kirk Cousins, when things start to go sideways, it's collapse. It's try to get out of the pocket sometimes and get gobbled up before you can get 3 steps away. He doesn't have the athletic ability. Mayfield has enough to buy just enough time, or also running the offense in a way where he rarely gets in those spots. Things are clicking, and this gets back to the genius of Kevin Stefanski. And Chris, remember, when we were talking about your quarterback rankings last year, one of the things you saw with Baker Mayfield was a slippage of a lot of the fundamentals and where his toes are pointing. And when you bump up Freddie Kitchens, the head coach, and the quarterback's coach, I think it was Ken Zampese.
Yeah.
I remember the offensive line coach who was the star of Hard Knocks that year that we just got exposed to more dysfunction than we ever could.
With Mr. Big Belly saying, Yeah, right.
Yeah, he was the one who said, hey, Zampese's the reason Mayfield had a solid 2018. 2019, he regressed, and 2020, that's when we saw the uptick. So you still need the coaching. You need to have people who are taking that lump of clay and molding it into the best that it can be. And we saw the difference in the statistics, as you said, the plummeting of the interceptions, Baker Mayfield moving in the right direction. And I would suspect that Stefanski, who's both worked with Cousins and Mayfield now, would say that Mayfield has a higher ceiling than Kirk Cousins.
I would think so.
We're being candid about it. But, and that leads to the question of when do they pay Baker Mayfield. And the better he gets, the more expensive it's going to get. But these are all problems that the Cleveland Browns haven't had since they returned to the NFL in 1999 as the Cleveland Browns. So it really is amazing. I would be, and this is just the way I'm wired, I live in my fears way too much. If I were a Browns fan right now, I would just be waiting for something. I would just be waiting for that hammer to fall. I would not be
not you, Dr.
the
Doom.
current state of affairs.
That's
just
I
would suspect it's just a matter of time before that boomerang comes back around and hits me right in the face.
I get it. I guess if I was a Cleveland Browns fan too, I'd probably be the same way. Like, well, all right, wait, it's going too smooth right now. What's going to happen? Yeah, something bad's going to happen, right? I certainly can understand that, but man, just from the way it looks, from above right now, they should be happy and feeling like really good about their chances for the 2021 season. Baker Mayfield, Stefanski in that offense. I think the biggest thing Stefanski did for Baker Mayfield and the Cleveland Browns football team is he played to the strength of their football team, which was, we have an overpowering, dominant offensive line. And I think between that and then going, we also have maybe the best duo of running backs in football. And they played to the running game, and that helped out their defense, which wasn't special by any means last year. And it helped Baker Mayfield slowly get accustomed to the offense, more and more comfortable, till we got to the end of the year and they get on a run, and he can just, when he needed to, he could let it rip and make big plays, and started to show a few moments of like, hey, there's nothing there, but, Baker, he escaped out of the pocket and made a 20-yard completion, even though the defense kind of won the play. That's got to be, you know, uplifting for the whole team and the organization and Baker Mayfield altogether.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.